Hello, welcome back. I'm your host, Muhammad Bey. Welcome back to the second season of the Trade Brokers Diaries. On this program, I want to talk about documents and financial procedures that are used in international trade. Many of these procedures and some of the documents have changed over the years, and many people are still falling victim to fraudulent practices and scam artists who want to try and get people to use practices and procedures and documents under false pretenses. This program is about explaining how various financial instruments and how certain kinds of documents are used in international trade. So let's begin. First, let's consider some of the misconceptions that surround the use of LOIs and other documents in broker networks. First and foremost, the days of buyers standing out in public with their pants down while the seller hides in the dark being protected by some broker that calls himself a mandate, these days are pretty much gone and they are not coming back. The LOI can never become a contract. This is contrary to contract law. The seller and the buyer will always enter into an enforceable commercial contract or agreement. The LOI is just that, an expression of the buyer's interest. More than 95% of the time, the LOI is written by a broker, not by the seller. And for the most part, these brokers just cut and paste information that they have obtained from other brokers. Thus, we have all the conflicts and errors that are copied and passed along from one joker broker to another. Banking coordinates. Banking coordinates are never conveyed in an LOI, at least not a real one. These are very confidential and not the business of the broker or his network. In fact, banking coordinates are never conveyed in an agreement. Banking coordinates are only conveyed principal to principal. The laws of perjury do not apply to any commercial document or agreements. This is again contrary to contract law, and it is impossible for someone to perjure themselves in a letter of intent. The term no proof means just that. There are no rules, no regulations, acts or ordinances or laws, including the U.S. Patriot Act of 2001, that require a buyer to produce a proof of financial capability prior to acquiring any instruments. MTNs and BGs. There are no agencies or departments of the U.S. government that approve the private sale of minimum term notes, or MTNs, or bank guarantees, BGs, and there are no departments that issue a Fed number for MTNs. This is all joker broker nonsense. Banks do not endorse fee agreements, contracts, or LOIs. This action would place a financial liability on the bank, and they cannot and will not incur that liability on the behalf of their depositors. Banks do not issue irrevocable conditional bank purchase orders, or ICBPOs, or any purchase orders, period. In fact, a bank is precluded from incurring any liability on the behalf of the depositor. And the words irrevocable conditional form an oxymoron. No Western world bank will issue an MT 543, as it is a liability on behalf of the bank. In fact, as of September 1st, 2003, the MT 543 has gone from the banking world altogether. Issuing banks do not enter into agreements to sell their financial instruments, and the buyer's bank do not enter into agreements to purchase the financial instruments. The agreement is always between the buyer and the seller, and no banker or securities officer is going to act on behalf of the buyer or seller until and unless there is an agreement in place. Collateral. Collateral first is the most misunderstood phrase. Collateral first does not mean that the actual instruments move to the buyer before payment. Means that the seller must provide an invoice setting forth the details of the instrument before the payment is made. There is no longer such a thing as a collateral first settlement via Euroclear, and there is no such thing as collateral first DVP settlements. These are not the same settlement types. Buyer's conditional documents, passport, resolution, client information sheet, banking coordinates are not sent through the broker's network. This always results in the documents being shopped around the world. These documents are only sent on a principal-to-principal basis, period. There is no such thing as due diligence by some agency for seasoned instruments. The buy-sell transaction between private parties is private and does not require the approval of any governmental body or agency. As a result of the post-September 11th rules on wire transactions and transfers for funds, it is no longer possible for buyers to move cash funds in amounts over $500 million without the funds being stopped and investigated. Accordingly, offers that set forth tranches of $1 billion or $5 billion or more are just pure nonsense. The ICC in Paris, France is not an enforcement, adjudication, or legislative body. They are simply an information body, and they have never published anything on the subject of NDNC. Accordingly, the ICC has no jurisdictional authority or standing in any commercial agreement. Contract law sets forth that there cannot be any conflict or jurisdictional oversight to an agreement. Accordingly, an agreement cannot contain multiple jurisdictions as the controlling law. Contract law sets forth that there cannot be any conflict of jurisdictional oversight to an agreement. Accordingly, an agreement cannot contain multiple jurisdictions as the controlling laws. For example, this agreement is governed by the laws where the buyer and the seller reside and the ICC Paris. This simply cannot be done. Or, this agreement is governed by the laws of the USA, UK, Hong Kong, Switzerland, and Germany. This has been written by someone who knows nothing about the law at all. Bank guarantees are never on any kind of screen, DTC or Euroclear for screening, authentication, or settlement. All BGs must be transacted via standard non-Euroclear DVP protocol settlement procedures. Medium-term notes, or MTNs, are only on Euroclear, not on DTC for screening, authentication, and settlement. All MTNs and bonds on Euroclear must be transacted via standard Euroclear DVP protocol settlement procedures. Some of the webs are starting to issue bank promissory notes. These notes can be posted and settled on Euroclear via standard Euroclear DVP protocol procedures. Prior to January 1st, 2003, it was possible to settle on Euroclear with a collateral first statement. The seller provided the buyer with the invoice containing all of the instrument and Euroclear codes, including the blocking codes. The buyer would then screen the instruments, block or deliver the instruments in its name, and then pay the seller via wire transfer for the funds. Euroclear called this a free delivery, as the instruments were blocked in the name of the buyer without any funds being delivered, that is, payment, at the same time. There were too many incidents where the funds were never wired, causing both the seller and Euroclear big problems. So, as of January 1st, 2003, there are no more free deliveries. All instruments on Euroclear must be transacted via standard Euroclear DVP protocol settlement procedures. Standard Euroclear DVP protocol settlement procedures and standard non-Euroclear DVP protocol settlement procedures do not require and in fact preclude the need for proof of funds, proof of capability, financial capability letter, MT-760, MT-543, or MT-799. This is handled in a bank-to-bank call after the agreement is signed and in place. Accordingly, no one will issue these documents, as they are replaced by the bank-to-bank confirmation call that must take place immediately after the agreement is signed. MT-100 and MT-103 are conditional SWIFT transfers of cash funds. The MT-100 has not been used for more than 2 years as of the making of this video. The MT-103 is the current method for sending a conditional SWIFT transfer for cash funds. However, the MT-103 is only used for fresh cut or new issue funds first transactions and never for seasoned paper or a DVP settlement transaction. MT-543 is a bank commitment or undertaking and is not used by any U.S. bank and is not used by most Western European banks. Banks do not make commitments or undertakings on behalf of their depositors. If they were to do so, this would cause the bank to move liquid assets to the liability section of the balance sheet, and banks simply do not do this. MT-543 has been canceled by the banking authorities after September 1st, 2003, and is no longer used in the banking world. MT-760 is not a proof of funds, blocking of funds, movement of funds, or settlement document. It only has one purpose. Its purpose is for the actual movement of the bank guarantee, not MTNs or bonds, from the seller's bank officer to the buyer's bank officer. MT-799 is a simple text message sent bank to bank. In this business, it is used for a bank-to-bank proof of funds only. MT-799 is not a form of payment, and it is not a bank undertaking or promise to pay. It is simply a bank-to-bank confirmation of the funds on deposit, nothing more. And all of these joker brokers that modify the MT-799 to make it look like a bank undertaking, these people are just kidding themselves. Standby letters of credit are not instruments that are issued, bought, or sold at discount prices. When a bank issues a SBLC, the price to the buyer is 100% of the face value, plus the bank's service charge for the instrument. And the purchaser of the SBLC will ask the bank to place a restrictive endorsement on the SBLC for the payment of a specific item for goods or services. All offers for large amounts of SBLCs at discounted prices are absolutely fraudulent offers. A fee protection agreement that states "to be determined" or "to be nominated" as the name of the paymaster for either the buyer side or the seller side is absolutely worthless. No prudent business person will issue a blank document, and if you do not know the name of the seller's side paymaster, then you do not have a valid offer, and you do not have any other way of delivering the ready, willing, and able letter to the seller. They're a seasoned instrument. Instruments are either fresh cut, which is a new issue that has not been registered with a buyer, or they are seasoned instruments that have already been sold to one or more buyers. While the price of seasoned instruments can vary, the fact that they are either seasoned or not seasoned is a binary matter. There's no such thing as gray screen. This is just broker-joker nonsense. There is no such thing as a Fed ID approving the acquisition of MTNs. This again is more joker-broker nonsense. There is no such thing as a Fed pool for MTNs. Again, this is just more joker-broker nonsense. And there is no such thing as a Fed program or Fed trader. These are all just terms created by joker brokers to get your money. As you can see, there have been a number of changes over the years in how certain kinds of financial instruments are used and not used in international trade deals. And it is my hope that this program will shed some light on how certain kinds of import-export related documents are used and again not used. A lot of people do fall victim to scams and scam artists trying to separate buyers from their money. Write to me. If you have any questions, I look forward to hearing from you. As usual, my email address is right here. And then for you YouTube users, always, please, comment, rate, and subscribe to our videos. I'm your host, Muhammad Bey. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for visiting our website. Take care. This program is sponsored by Open Vision Networks Television. the world's first mainstream, online, global cable network streaming in live HD TV. Open Visions is not a website-based service like YouTube or Netflix. You can rent airtime on an existing channel, buy your own channel, even own your own 2 or 4 network channel complete with network support. Visit our website for more details. Thanks for watching. Take care.